Plan to dig, dig to plan. A safe way of excavating from Subtechnics Limited. Firstly, the site area is identified, cleared, assessed for risks, and a methodology devised for performing the excavation risk assessment. Next, the radar scan grid is marked out. Whilst this is happening, the other surveyor is consulting the existing utility record drawings to see which covers may be of interest. Local covers are then opened and their contents investigated. On opening, they are always checked for gas using a toxic gas detector. A flexible tracing cable is then inserted along each of the accessible ducts encountered. It is then connected to a transmitter which allows it to be physically traced through the search area. The positions of the located ducts are then marked on the surface of the ground using a biodegradable paint. Meanwhile, the ground probing radar measurements are collected over the marked out survey grid. It is essential to ensure that the start and end points are accurately positioned, so that the end result is reliable and accurate. All local covers are checked with reference to existing utility records. Then the site is searched with RFL, radio frequency locators, in a passive mode, looking for metallic or power carrying utilities. An induction method is also employed globally across the entire search area to trace otherwise unlocatable services. All the information is then recorded in the form of a sketch and topographically positioned using a surveyor's total station. Once the data has been collected and verified, the radar data profiles are analysed and the background survey drawn up. The two sets of information are then merged together to form a single drawing. The notes are added, the sections drawn, and the written assessment of the risks completed. The final document is then quality checked, and the excavation risk assessment is ready to be issued. Vacuum excavation. Firstly, the excavation risk assessment is reviewed by the site team. This is done immediately following the generic site-specific risk assessment and method statement inductions. Once the excavation area has been marked out, the surface of the ground can be cut. Dust is kept to a minimum using the vacuum hose. The exact position of the excavation has been carefully planned using the information provided through the excavation risk assessment. This gives the excavation team added confidence in in knowing that they're not going to hit any surfaces. Now the concrete is broken out, again using the vacuum hose to remove any debris. On reaching the bottom of the concrete, the excavation team can now clearly see the very edge of the ducts that are depicted on the excavation risk assessment. They now know that they can excavate around these without actually damaging them. While the excavation is relatively shallow, a road traffic cone is used to prevent debris from leaving the hole when the air lance is employed to break up the soil beneath. Periodically the air lance is removed and the vacuum hose is used to remove the spoil from the hole. The excavation risk assessment had clearly indicated that the ducts were directly beneath the base of the concrete slab. To attempt to break out the slab directly over the top of them may have resulted in a rupture or a breakage of the ducts themselves. Now that they can be clearly seen, the concrete above them can be gently nibbled away and the entire excavation exposed. Using the air lance, the material around the ducts has been safely broken up and using the vacuum hose has been safely removed from the hole. The result is an extremely precise and clean excavation, revealing the plastic water pipe that was known to exist beneath the bank of ducts, exactly as depicted on the excavation risk assessment.